And a lot of people were asking about that. Yeah, so you'll likely find it in the community section on the TBJ website. And by the way, if you're watching this anywhere but TBJ website, tarotbyjanine.com, then this was pirated. Okay, this video, and there's some thieves on the channel, unfortunately. But let's have a look at, let's see. So 10 and the Hermit. Not really getting a yes. These don't, like, there's a major arcana in this row, but it's not feeling like a yes. Okay, it's not really feeling like a yes, because that 10 is kind of the end of something. It seems to take us to the end of something and maybe make it easier for truth or for us to hear truth. Okay, but I'm not really getting it as his information is a big yes. So when you watch the video, keep it in mind. I'm not really getting it as a big exactly like that. Okay, but I do get there are things that are going to bring more enlightenment, or we're just naturally, even I'd say, coming to the end of where we're being repressed, okay, by deep state and dark cult. Just think of it this way. I feel like other things are lifting that curse that keeps us dumbed down. Okay, I feel like there's been things done in the background, and that's maybe why this card's in the background, that are leading to a lot more ability to enlightenment or ability to be closer to our God, goddess selves, our higher selves. But I don't think it's exactly what that guy's describing. But I feel like it is true that we are becoming more enlightened, and maybe not in that flash overnight, exactly how he describes it either. I think it's already happening, and it's naturally happening because of just what's going on and what's been taken out of the equation in the background. Yeah, so I'll say it that way. So in a unique way, it, he somewhat, there's some truth there, but not exactly how he's describing it. Okay, so I'll say that. And once you find it and listen to it, yeah, it'll make more sense. And a lot of people have already watched that. I know, because a lot of people talking about it on the community page. Okay, so let's go on to, will Trump exit the scene, the stage, we'll call it, the world stage, by the end of October? Because according to some truthers who are doing the numerology, so they're numerologically decided that that's the date, the 29th to be exact. October 29th is one date being thrown around. October 30th is another date I've heard other people talking about. So what they're doing is they're using numerology and the comms. So sort of the looking at the Q posts from the past, and looking at the comms that have been put out there. And this is what some truthers have come up with. And I'm just wondering, and people in the comments were also wondering, is that actually the case? Will Trump exit where he's not in the public eye, like somehow? So could be like a fake death, could be like they just pull him off the stage somehow, and there's lots of ways they could do that. Okay, I don't believe the real Trump, just so you know, just a reminder, I don't think we're looking at real Trump for some time. If real Trump's still around, I think he's maybe being hidden. He's underground, and or certainly being looked after and hidden somewhere, or being safe somewhere. That's what I think is really happening with the real Trump. And I feel like very rarely we get to see him, maybe in photo ops, but often it's one of the three sort of doubles of actors playing Trump, or people wearing a Trump mask. Okay, and they're pretty obvious when you see them. There are three of them in particular, and they do look quite different from each other. It's fascinating. Okay, but are we not going to see Trump after the 30th of October? Is that going to be where he gets yanked off the world stage somehow? Okay, is that true? Wow, we got the major arcana first there. And now we've got a 5, though. So a 5, that's interesting. We've got the Wheel of Fortune and another major arcana. So, wow, we might get a scare. Yeah, we might get a scare. But I feel like he doesn't exit for good. Okay, so I feel like the potential of scaring us that we lost Trump, or making a lot of libs happy, or Trump haters happy. Okay, looking like there might be a Trump scare, but I don't know if they keep him off. I feel like then he comes back and there's a celebration. So if they do scare us that he's gone, I feel like it won't be too long, a couple of days maybe, or hours or days, and then they actually bring him back. And then, of course, that's also been predicted in some of those Q drops, that there's going to be this scare event necessary. Okay. Of course, we've also heard that from Juan O'Savin through the years, and etc., that there'll be a fake scare event where it looks like he's in a plane crash or somehow a helicopter crash. I don't know. Like, there's all kinds of ways that they could do it. All right. Okay. What else we got? Middle East peace deal. Okay, this is a good one, and it's a little convoluted, so let me explain. So you know how they're making such a big deal of this Middle East peace deal, okay? And don't forget that, okay, I just want to maybe toot my own horn just a bit, but for a really long time in several different readings I got, and in particular on the World News with Jean-Claude, there's a public World News, by the way, on Thursdays. So if you can't afford to be on the IAP, don't worry. We always repeat everything on the public Thursday World News. Okay. So good one to watch on Rumble. Okay. Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic Rumble. You want to go check that out Thursday nights at 8 Eastern. It's free and lots of good news there. We usually cap up everything we talked about all week. Anyway. So what, now I gotta, oh yeah. So the Middle East peace deal, it seems to me, they're yupping it up way too much. I got to start over from the beginning because I'm having a senior moment. Like, what was I just saying, leading up to there? Anyway, the Middle East peace deal looks to me like, it's like a calm or a signal to watch, and it could lead into the Israeli mistake. And here's how it could. Okay. And somebody wrote this out for me, but unfortunately I didn't write it all down. So I'll just try to put it together in my own words. Here's how it could happen. Israel looked like they weren't present at the big celebrations. So they made this big deal about the peace deal. Okay. And there's been lots of ceasefires before. And who always ends the ceasefire? Usually Israel, but it always ends. Okay. So why are they making such a big deal of this as if it's going to stick around? These guys have been fighting in the Middle East for, millennia. Hundreds of years, okay, hundreds of years, about things we don't even understand, most of us, and I don't even try to understand really, because it's deep history, and none of the history we know about is real anyway, so we don't even know really what it's about. Yeah, so to me, it's like so convoluted that I try to just stay away from it, frankly. But the fact that they made such a big deal out of this, I feel like it might be setting up for what Cliff High talked about, the Israeli mistake. And I don't think we've had either we've had it already and nobody paid too much attention. That's one thing. Or in fact, because they've made a lot of mistakes, actually. Okay. But this could be another big Israeli mistake. This could be the big one Cliff was talking about. And here's how it could play out. Because they made such a big deal out of this, Netanyahu didn't even come to the big celebration, and everyone noticed, and that was noticed. Okay. And then there was even some reports of some, like activity from their end, from Israel, bombing things up some more, even after the deal, but that was all repressed in the news. Interesting. But I feel like he's going to make a really bad step. The fake Netanyahu, and by the way, that's a puppet, or that's either a capitulated Netanyahu or a mask wearing. In fact, there's been evidence that it is a mask wearer, like we've seen him with the mask on. But anyway, remember, I feel like these guys are all capitulated and are facing their tribunals. Just to remind some of the new people out there that haven't been paying attention to me, okay, for years like you other guys. Anyway, so the Netanyahu we're seeing, this capitulated guy, I feel like they're setting him up to make his move, okay? So his next play will be to go after or thoroughly break the peace deal, okay? And that'll be the Israeli mistake. And that'll give Trump permission to finally focus on coming down on Israel, because he'll come down hard on Israel. This is a potential that could happen. And I see that could happen. And then they'll call it the Israeli mistake, or that'll be what Cliff called the Israeli mistake. And it'll give the excuse for finally the US government, headed by the Trump team and or the Trump brand, White Hat Alliance, those guys, it'll give them the excuse to finally come down on Israel and actually out them as sort of the world superpower of repression that they have been. And like basically they have been a really big part of what we've been calling the deep state. Okay, so is that true? And that would out Israel for all they've been doing. It would also give the Trump team a way to excommunicate from those guys, because it's been looking like they support Israel. Okay, right? So it could give them the excuse to do a flip, and it would also give the Q drops some credibility when they say they're saving Israel to last. And then it could also start or lead into what starts lockdowns and true disclosure of tribunals, etc. So anyway, if that, hope I'm making sense there. You guys know what I'm saying there? Let me know in the comments if that made sense. Okay. Is that actually what's going on? Do I have that right? So we've got the Wheel of Fortune. We've got the World. Oh my goodness. Two major arcanas. Oh my goodness. Three major arcanas. I got a feeling this is a potential, guys. I got a feeling that this could happen. This is one of the plays they could absolutely make with those three major arcanas. Okay. Wheel of Fortune and the World. This would be a really... this is a big potential, and it could really move the war in a direction and even put an end to a lot of, this third world, like a lot of it ties up a lot of loose ends, let's say. So there's a big potential with those three major arcanas that I'm on to something there in the way I described it. Okay. But the Wheel of Fortune here says, like, maybe it'll happen a little differently than I explained it, right? Like it could lead to that, and or the details. I might not have all the details exactly right. And then there's a soft yes under here. So the way, maybe the way he screws up, and they call it the Israeli mistake. Maybe that's the part I didn't get right. Anyway, and here we've got the Justice in the middle. So it gives them an excuse to really come down hard on Israel. So it does look like it's that could be a way it plays out. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Wow. And somebody sent that question in too. And I was also thinking the same thing. So that's really cool. Okay, Vietnamese so in Vietnam, a lot of bank accounts got closed down over the last week. Okay, and their bank accounts were wiped out. And we're wondering if, and the person who is asking this is wondering, are these bank accounts going to be reinstated? Are they going to get their money back? Or is this it? Did they lose all of that money, the people from Vietnam who this affected? Let's have a look. Because, if they did lose it all, this is showing us what could happen. It could happen anywhere, especially with silver going up every day and gold, and just silver going up past 50. Of course, that could lead to, and we've been talking about it, very likely leads to banks, some of them anyway, collapsing because they stay afloat by shorting silver. But let's have a look. Vietnamese people getting their bank accounts reinstated with the money in it. Okay, getting their money back. because when they shut all those bank accounts, the people couldn't get their money. Okay, so they lost all their life savings, some of them. Wow. Okay. Whoa. It really is a lot of people did lose a lot there. Those cards are telling me. Now, this is interesting because in the past, I feel like this could be part of the theater with that card there, because it says everybody's in on it, and we've got the ace, so it certainly looks bad. Okay, it looks bad, and then there's the 4 of Swords and a soft yes. Okay, I feel like they will get their money back somehow. I don't know if the bank accounts come back or they just have to start new ones, because maybe those banks will no longer be in operation, but somehow they will. And it might take, till January before. So there's going to be a wait time, but the money didn't leave, like it feels like it's being held safely or hidden. And then, so I guess this is like, maybe they're trying out the money scare event where people lose their money and, freaks them out, and we see what happens. Like, it seems like they've been playing out various versions of what could happen all over the world in different places, almost like they're trying it out. And this is what that looks like. So they don't lose it for good. They will get it back. It might take a few months though. Wow. Okay. Wake up call, it looked like. It was a wake up call for us to be paying attention to. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Did Trump really get his boosters and vaxes up to date? So this circulated around. Somebody sent it to me a few days ago and was so alarmed. Okay, so read this, stop the video maybe and have a look at this. Okay, it actually indicates it's basically a health sort of report on, and I guess they do this on presidents. And then they mention there that he's had his COVID-19 boosters and vaccinations up to date. Okay, that just freaked a lot of people out. The first thing I thought was that's a comm or that's fake. Okay, so what we want to ask is this legit, this paper? Did a deep state operative put this paper out? Did they put this paper out as a trial balloon to see who's going to believe it or buy it, or what the response will be? Is that the white hats doing this? Who's doing this? Who put this paper out? Is it totally just fake? Is it part of the movie, or is it actually real? Okay, what the heck's going on? Let's have a look. Part of the movie for sure, though everybody's in on it. So the doctor or whoever put it out. So this looks white hat. Okay, so they had a strategy in doing this. Okay, yep. They're trying to get people to be they're looking for the response. This is a creative way to gauge who's where, how are people thinking, how many people would find that shocking. Okay, so gauging who's awake, who isn't awake. This is a creative part of the theater and strategically put out there to understand how many people would notice even and would cry out about that, and therefore giving them an idea how many free thinking and people that would find that offensive somehow or not cool somehow for the president of the United States to have, because if you're just walking around and you don't know any of this and you don't watch any of these channels, you wouldn't even notice that. You wouldn't even care. Oh, he got his, whatever, cares, right? But we notice, right? So they're trying to count how many people are free thinkers. Awesome. Okay, and I'm sure they do lots of that. That was the feeling I got too. Okay, now we've got this. This one's a little wild. Okay, this is oh my goodness. I couldn't believe that I heard this. Okay, so the UK is their latest total communist move. Okay, they're an insane fake government there. Okay, and they're really pushing everybody's buttons with that digital ID and everything. And then on top of all of that, they're saying all commercial bread dough is going to be fortified. they use the word fortified, with this very dangerous, and I'm using that word, they didn't say it was dangerous, this dangerous folic acid. Okay. And it's not a natural thing, even though it sounds natural. Okay. It's not a natural thing. And what they're saying is, so the government or the people saying they're going to, like, when the government's adding to your food supply, okay, it's not going to be good. Okay. You don't let your government decide what's healthy for you. We've seen their track record. Okay. This is only about money. Okay. So somebody's making a lot of money, or they're trying to kill you off. Those are the two options. Okay. And think about it. If a lot of people have cancer and or potential cancers brewing in them from they say within 4 years of especially the first and second booster and onward with boosters, but even the first and second shot could have given you turbo cancer, and it could show up at any time and then take you out within months. Okay, that's how turbo cancer works. Folic acid splits cells, apparently. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but what I understood was it splits cells, and that's really dangerous. That could really, if you had cancer already and or cancer was growing in you. So if we got a lot of people walking around like ticking time bombs who've had all these vaxes and boosters, okay, the potential of them getting cancer is really high. That's how it looks. That's what's been proven. Okay, so it's kind of scary. And it means that possibly this would speed up their demise if they put this stuff in all bread dough. Okay, so to me, it sounded right away like fear porn. Think about it. Okay, so they're trying to push your buttons. Also, the other thing that looked like fear porn, I'm just trying to point these things out so people can be discerning. Even if they don't have tarot cards, it does sound like fear porn with or without cards. I got a feeling it is, but we're going to check with the cards. The other reason I think it might be is they're giving it till the end of 2026. Okay, so they're giving it all this time for people to yell about it. Okay, to me, and also if they're saying it's going to be done by that time, they probably have been doing it. So they're also probably outing what's already been done by the deep state. Okay, and could have even been cleaned up by the good guys by now, right? Because they're playing this movie out so we'll understand what's been done to us and what could have been done to us. Yeah, that's what I've been saying for years. Okay, so let's have a look at the whole idea that the government of the UK is going to add this thing to bread dough. Have they already been? And that's what they're trying to out. Are they really going to? What the heck's going on here? Already done it. This has already been a thing. Wheel of Fortune, and it's already turned around. So it's been part of the war. So they did it and it was already taken out. Okay, so they already did that, and they're trying to so they're playing out what was already done, but then it was reversed. So they don't have it in the bread dough anymore. Okay, and they're not going to put it in. Okay, they're just trying to show you they already had it in the bread dough, guys. They just didn't tell you about it. And they're trying to get everybody's to understand what these people would do and have been doing to us. Okay, so this is playing out part of the movie and showing you what your government, who's your real enemy, first of all, who's the real enemy in the war, and what your government's been doing all of these years. We got to look at all of these things. Anytime, think about it. So this folic acid, it's got to cost them money to add it to things, to add it across the board to all commercial bread. So if it's already been done, they've already done it. Okay. And they did it for years, probably making us sick. It's already been contributing to people's cancer and cancer growth and the speed of the cancer growth. They're saying that it helps people not get deformities, birth defects. That's what they're saying. Okay, I highly doubt if that's true, but of course they have to have a reason why they did it. So they're outing the government and showing you who your enemy is. And anytime a government, why would a government spend money to fortify things? Why would they do that? Okay, only if it's devious. Think about it. No governments, they're not in charge of that. we can't let them be in charge of stuff like that. We got to completely step away from letting governments have any kind of overreach about how our food's processed. Like as soon as, like I'm telling you, we have to have a smaller processing plants, and a lot of people like a lot of disclosure in what actually goes on in those plants. And we can't let the government be the ones overseeing it anymore going forward. Like we gotta learn from these things, people. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching my video. And do go check out Sending Ravens if you want to, you know what I'm saying? But just remember, lots of commercials on, like that is not me doing that. I'm not making any money on that channel. They told me, they were explicit that I wouldn't make any money, and they're throwing all kinds of commercials on it apparently. So I'm apologizing for that. And I'm gonna say, here's where you get all the news though, TBJ, like,
we're all made of bricks, stones, cements, these huge grand buildings. And going down in flames, that was very, very odd. So we were having huge fires, burning down literal huge cities like this one here. It was in Chicago, 1871. Allegedly, this fire started with Mrs. O'Larry's cow, who kicked over a lantern and destroyed more than 17,000 buildings and left 100,000 people homeless. And we have some visual here, and I'm telling you guys, it's so easy. You go on the internet, there's so much information. We have a picture here of Boston in 1872. Just 1 year later, wiped out 65 acres of downtown Boston. And then there was more cities going down in Europe. We have here a picture of San Francisco. Here is a picture, a painting of St. Louis up in flames. We even had here in Toronto, Canada, Toronto, up in flames as well. And when I was doing my research as well, Montreal went in flames. And this was all in the 1800s. Everything was reduced to ashes. And mind you, when you do your deep dive, you'll see that there was not a lot of death. So in these cities, you could see maybe 10 people dying, but we're talking about a full city burning. So that is odd to see that, okay, a full city in the 1800s is burning down, but people were not dying. So where did they find the time to escape? Because everybody were riding horses. It was their horses and buggy back then. So we're going to deep dive into this whole 1800 great fires, which was happening all around the world. Because I was texting Janine, I'm like, do you want to do this? Because it makes me think of all the wildfires that's happening now. And they happen all in the same time. I'm just going to give you guys a friendly reminder. Just here in Quebec in 2023, remember, Janine, when everything was going up in flames? In 2023, this is not long ago. So let's go. Let's deep dive into this. I'm just going to show you guys a little snippet of this documentary that made me start deep diving and watching this nonstop. If ever you guys are interested, it's around 2 hours and 30 minutes on Rumble. The channel is My Lunch Break. And let's tune into this. It's a couple of minutes, and then we'll start deep diving with the cards and ask the cards what they can reveal to us, instead of looking in these books with a specific narrative that we know what they were trying to do. So let's check this little snippet, and then we'll go into the cards.
Well, they tell us that it was a fire, but I don't believe that these great fires were actually fires. This looks to me like these so-called great fires in every single city in the world, basically. You can go ahead and look it up. It happened in a city near you. These were actually bombs, in my opinion. The destruction was something that a fire alone could never accomplish, especially when we are given the fire story from the National Geographic Society that the Chicago fire bomb started by accidentally knocking over a lantern when running away from a card game. And this causes the entire city to burn down. Stone buildings that look like palaces. I think we all know that this is ridiculous at this point. Could you imagine if someone in your neighborhood's house started on fire and that fire burns down your entire neighborhood? No. And not to mention that all of the houses would have been built with brick and stone, materials that don't burn down to the ground from house fires. Let's take a look at the destruction again, where they tell us that this is the ruins of the first Palmer house. And for one, are we 100% sure that this photo is showing us the destruction of the first Palmer house? And for two, is this even Chicago? Could this be a random street in Germany right after they bombed it? And for three, take a look at those buildings in the background. This is from a tipped over lantern, or is it more possible that we are being lied to? The buildings are just ripped apart. They're shredded and smashed. And we know you can't burn down stone and brick buildings from a simple house fire. They don't get anywhere near hot enough. This is exactly why you put stone around the fire pit. You make stone and brick fireplaces inside your house, right inside your living room, and nobody panics. It doesn't spread into your kitchen or into your neighbor's house. It doesn't crumble and look like it exploded. Are you seeing the lie very clearly now? Now let's go deeper. Now they tell.
So let's go into it, Janine.
Whoa.
There is so much information. I am so excited that you were up for this deep dive. And you guys, everybody that's watching, you could ask questions as well. I'll try to pull them up here in the live. So let's start with this most basic question, but I think it's the most important. What was the true cause of these great fires? And were they really an accident, or there was a hand behind it?
That's what I queued up.
Right?
What was the true cause? Yeah.
What's the true cause?
Okay, so with this card, underneath this card, I feel like, first of all, those photographs were from a different time than they say. So the timing's off, and maybe the guy has a point that they're actually from a whole other city, and they weren't from where they say they're from. And see the moon here? That's a really big cover up and or illusion card. There's an illusion being created. So the timing's off, the year's off, and what happened is off. So I don't think anything about the way they're telling us about the fires is true. I'd say nothing about what they're saying is true. The time's wrong, where they're showing you is wrong, when those pictures were taken. Temperance and 5. Yeah, it looks more like explosives, like was mentioned.
Wow.
As opposed to and possibly even done on purpose. And also it looks like they told everybody they were going to be doing it in some of those photographs, although that when they said it was done and who did it, why, and what happened, all of that's not true. But things did happen. That's how they got the photographs. And when they were going to explode those buildings, they told everybody and got everybody out of there. So I feel like it was a planned demolition of buildings. Okay,
Wow.
A planned demolition, possibly to cover up like Tataria and or a civilization that existed there. They didn't want those. They only left a few buildings standing. They took out what they didn't want. They wanted to hide. Maybe there's technology in the buildings. Maybe there was hints and clues. I know there's some still left with hints and clues, but I feel like it was a way to get rid of a lot of evidence from another time, another place, another whole group of people that might have built those.
Wow. Okay. I just put up this comment. Let me try to find it. So they seem to use fire on property. Yeah, pretty much. The Kabbalah is using a lot of fire. Okay. So we have that question because.
Okay, but can I just say that
Yeah.
wasn't fire? I don't think that was fire. Their fires might have started because of bombing. This isn't a fire card. I would say this is more explosive. I'm going to say there was explosives.
Wow. That is amazing. With like the specific card, the Tower card.
Yeah, I would say we're talking explosives. 8 of Wands might be fire, like wand cards, more wand cards. Like we do have one wand card. So fires might have started, but I feel like they're trying to take out something. It was a planned demolition of things, and they even told people and sent them out of the areas they were going to demolish.
That makes sense. And back then, there was no internet. There was nothing of that. So the citizens would just follow. Okay, you're going to blow it up. Let's just leave.
And they don't know. Like there's even newspapers. They could print whatever they wanted about it.
Yes, very true. Very
totally
true.
BS. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we got that one answered. I have a whole other list of questions for you, Janine. Okay. So with this question, I will put up an image to just recall the work of the Tartarian eras. So these structures were more than just amazing. There's a lot of researchers suggesting that there was advanced technology that they were trying to hide, such as energy weapons, weather weapons. So we want to know what's the truth or knowledge that they were trying to burn away / explode away. Is this true? Was there really these types of weapons that they were trying to hide from the population?
So are you talking about weapons?
Well, because this research, when you deep dive into, there's a lot of researchers and theorists that are saying that they did this grand reset, exploding all of these, putting everything down on fires, because they were saying that the Tartarian era had huge technology, huge energy weapons, weather weapons that would change the weather every single day. So the question is, what was the truth behind it? Is it real that they did have that kind of technology, and because of that controlling hand, they wanted to burn that all out to destroy the knowledge of all of that?
Okay, let's start with the first one there. We'll break it into two.
Okay.
Did they have the technology you just mentioned?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. They had that technology.
I feel like it was already, so I don't think them destroying that was to destroy the technology. Okay. That might have already, I feel like they took the technology already. So they took the abundance of technology, because just destroying it doesn't make sense, right? If they got all that technology, the powers that be that are controlling hand, as you called it, would want that technology maybe. Yeah. Or certainly want to keep it out of the way of regular folks. right? Just the regular folks.
Mhm.
Okay, so I feel like with that major arcana, and it's a yes in the past, so they've already swept and took the abundance of it. So a large amount of the technology. And then I feel like now they're just wreaking havoc and like taking those buildings down, not for the technology. They'd already confiscated the technology. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they're trying to keep it out of the hands of people because it would create like free thinkers and people that this community's becoming and or became already. So this is like a sovereign free. So I feel like what they were trying to stay away from was giving people freedom through technology. So they were ensuring that we stayed dumb, driving around horse carts as long as possible. I mean, eventually we grew out of that and came up with stuff, but I feel like they set us back. I feel like it was a setting back of sorts. And I also get that this will all be disclosed. We're going to be like I feel soon everything starts coming out about what's been going on in this what the planned reset that's not going to happen the way the bad guys planned it anyway. Okay, I feel like this information is known by Trump White Hat Alliance, and I feel like it'll actually be disclosed. And when I say Trump White Hat Alliance, I mean the brand of Trump and the people that are doing the psyops right now to wake people up. That's who I mean by that.
Wow. Okay. Perfect. Got that. Thanks. Okay, then let's hop into the topic of the impact that it had on the, how can I say that, the psyche of the population, the impact that it had on the mental state of the population in that time, because entire neighborhoods were gone. Thousands of people were pushed away. And curiously, that was in the same era, the same timing of the orphan trains. That just right after followed all of that. That's a disaster. So can we just pull cards quickly on this? Was this a coincidence or it was just full on connection? These fires / bombs and the era of the orphan trains.
Okay.
Was that all connected?
There's that Six of Pentacles again. So that's a 60-40 kind of card when you're asking about like a question, the way you asked the question, 60-40. So somewhat of, and to some degree, but not entirely. Okay. So it's not 100% hell yes. These aren't hell yes cards. These are more like, yeah, kind of. Okay. But I think we're missing something. We're missing something, and I don't know what it is. Like it's just the cards are saying there was something else. It had to do with see this card here. This is a large population in the past leading into that time you're asking about. I feel like again they say that not too many people were. Like it feels like it was harder on the people in the population than they're saying. Okay, so on one hand, they took out people and blew these things up, but something else was going on that feels like it was taking out people. It maybe not in the explosions themselves. So I don't know what was killing the people, but it feels like it went from the population went from a lot to, it really was hard on the population and really hard on these people. So something was going on with the population, but they weren't blowing them up in the buildings.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sure why. I mean, that would have been one way to get rid of them, but it looks like they weren't. And think about it. A lot of those buildings were really fancy, like regular folks were living in more squalid, wooden built shacks. Like they weren't living in, like there wasn't a lot of middle class then. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments.
Totally right.
Middle class wasn't really a big thing. There was wealthy people and really poor people. And the really poor people, first of all, didn't have any of those skills to build those buildings. So they wouldn't have built them. They came upon those buildings. But the people that were actually living in the cities maybe weren't kind of just your regular folks. Those people were more rural, farming, on the outskirts and in squalid sort of or little shacks and shanty towns. And they weren't living in nice buildings. Some of those huge buildings were like government used for government buildings or used for who knows what, but definitely not just regular folks weren't living in them. So I feel like we need to say maybe these cities came upon and then they cleared out one group of people that they didn't want, and then added the regular kind of 3D people.
Wow.
3D people. Maybe they added a different version of who was there before looks like they were taken out. And that's maybe why they needed the trains. So now they're populating it, but with a whole different group of people. Now, interesting, because it looks like they're trying to do it again. So when you look at the European cities, they're being bombarded with people that are they're different. They have a whole different psychology. Okay.
Mentality.
They're from countries where they weren't able to create middle class per se. There's just really wealthy or really poor. They call them third world countries. And I know that that's all created by the cabal. Okay. And I believe, and I hope I'm not overstretching here, but I believe that some of these religions were created by I think all religion was really, and in particular, blindly following something like Islam. And I know that a lot of Muslims aren't necessarily practicing in a way that it's being shown to us that large amounts of them are. Okay, so I hope I'm making myself clear. Yeah. I feel like they created a whole group of people they think they can control. And now they're moving them into these all over Europe. They've been doing it for a really long time. And they've put leaders at the head of these religions, okay? And when you really read their doctrine, you can see that they're very destructive. But I think most people blindly follow doctrines, and that includes Christianity. Most Christians I know never actually read the Bible. My family was a Christian, like they were Catholics, and really didn't read the Bible much. I did absolutely never read the Bible, really. Just heard say things in church and etc., but never sat around, read the Bible. Nobody I knew did. Okay, so I know lots of Christians do read the Bible, but a whole bunch of people don't. Like a lot of people blindly follow religion, and I think religion was created to keep people enslaved. Okay, now they really created a bunch, the ones that follow Muhammad, and I know you can get mad at me, but if you look at that guy's lifestyle, a guy was a pedophile scumbag. Sorry, okay, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one, but and then now they create this whole group, who maybe because a lot of people don't pay attention to what they're following. Do you know what I mean? And they're easily led, and now they're dumping them en masse into European and now Western, for the last 10, 15 years, 20 years, Western cities too. And they're taking over the world because the middle class got too smart they got to get rid of us. That's why COVID-19 middle class. So they're doing the same thing, and they did it here, it looks like. So these guys got out of hand. They got wealthy and sovereign, whoever this bunch was, Tartarians, I don't know who they were. And they got rid of them. They were the ones occupying, and then they loaded up with some other people. Don't ask me where they got them. And loaded the cities with, that's what the orphan trains were, I think. They were moving these people around, populating places with people they thought they could control. And then we rose up too. And now, now we're trouble to them again.
Exactly. They're stuck with us. I don't know. Maybe you could do a clarifier on this, because I have a little question here from Colette Say. Where did the people go? Those that were able to escape? Is that a question we could ask the tarot cards?
Well, did we say they escaped? I don't know if I said they escaped.
No, they didn't escape. They were like moved out, I guess. From
Yeah. Okay. So these two cards tell me they might have been done away with. But I mean, let's ask that specifically.
Yeah.
Like killed. Okay, I mean, they certainly have been trying to do that to us in various different sneaky ways. Who knows what kind of schemes they were up to back then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. Because we're going, a lot of our history is just written down by somebody. We don't know if any of that's true. We don't know what really happened there.
Yeah.
It could have been mass like exporting people. I don't know. Let's have a look.
And when you do, if I'm going to tell the audience, if you do deep dive and you go in these typical Wikipedia page or the National Geographic, like you're saying, Janine, they're just saying it like it's a regular fire that's wiping out a freaking city.
Yeah, it's total BS. It sounds like, according to the cards, none of that happened, anything like that. Okay, so they were an abundant, wealthy, and so they had a lot. They had it going on, these guys. That's who lived there. Now we've got the 2 and the 4. Hang on. We've got 7. So it took a while. They'd been working on getting rid of these guys for a while.
Wow.
2, 7. It looks like physical things, physical problems, water too, something in the water, giving them bad water, or doing something to their waterways. And then so they had lots of different ways they were doing it. They were working on it from all different sources, which they're doing now again. Okay. So putting things in food, who knows, right? So we've got the death and 7. 7. Wow. Well, it looks like disease, mental illness. Like I feel like they were. They worked on it for a while, but the final clincher was something in the water.
Really?
Yeah. So all of these are water cards. So something in the water finished them off, or made a really large dent in the population. Page of Pentacles and Justice. And place their own people in charge.
Wow.
Wow, that is interesting. And then started the lies and propaganda. And I wonder if this is the time when media started, media groups and newspapers on, like, in a really big way.
Yeah.
As the psyops and lies started. So it looks like they killed them off to me. I mean, I don't think they put them anywhere. I think Tartario was killed, but through not lots of different ways, but a final big purge with a water incident. Oh, and that water incident could have been flooding too.
Yeah.
So they're talking about exploding so the buildings supposedly caught fire, but there was big mud floods then, weren't there?
At the same time, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so water incidents,
Crap.
mud floods, they buried them in water.
Wow. And as well poisoning the water that they were consuming, like they're doing today.
Yeah, that would have been this card here.
Yeah.
Feeding them bad water. Yeah, so it's like, wow, like they were up to the same antics. They've been doing it.
They're using the same playbook.
Let's see who's they.
Oh my!
The same enemy as we have right now.
Well, listen, I have this same exact question. I have this from K9 Mama 22. Who was moving, deleting these people? The cabal or off-world overlord?
Yeah. Wow, that's just wild. I feel like when this all really comes out and people know, it's going to be heartbreaking, first of all. And people have been piecing this together in the background, like those people you've been watching and where you're getting some of your info from. They've been piecing this together for a while.
Crazy.
I mean, it looks like they were using their technology against them. Like mud floods, that kind of flooding might have been created by their
weather technology that they had
of affecting the weather. So instead of affecting it to make the crops grow, they were affecting it for evil, and that's when it all started. It's probably been going on since then, of course, right?
Oh my gosh, Janine, I'm getting goosebumps. Wow.
So we're going with who's doing it, who's in charge here. Oh, that's interesting. A big ace. And the death card. Changed forever. Humans that have been changed forever. Humans that have been changed. So I'm going to go with maybe hybrids. Humans that have been changed forever is how I'd read that, those two. So they might have looked like humans, but they're something changed, altered in them. So that's a transformative card. Transformed humans. Started out as humans, transformed. So we've got the reptilian race are like that. They get inside you, and like Queen Elizabeth was one of those. That creepy guy she was married to was one of those. Like, there's like lots of people, like apparently lots of singers are that, people in the media, like they're right, reptilian race. Okay, but I don't think they're from outer space. I think they're from the earth. I think the reptiles are from inner earth or underneath us, or the tunneling. I feel like they're from here.
Wow.
Maybe they came originally from somewhere else, but yeah.
They're from here.
They're still hanging out here. Like, they're the ones in the tunnels. They're the ones, they had to go under to hide, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see. So we've got the 10, we've got the 5. Yeah, they basically waged war. So it feels like it was, and they waited a really long time and did it over a long period of time. So it wasn't just all in one felt swoop. They were working up, but then they really worked up to that. Throughout the 1800s, they really did their worst there.
Shoot.
Or whenever that really was, that information is from, because remember, the date looks wrong.
Yeah.
The info itself's wrong and the date's wrong. So we can't trust any of that stuff.
Damn.
We can only see from the photograph something happened, and it looks like it was explosive. And it was maybe at the end of already them taking out these people. And then they populated what was left to clean up the rubble, I guess. And I don't know where that might be another good question. Where did they get all those people to populate?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
Like, were they growing them somewhere, or were they
Oh
from
my-
another galaxy, or where the hell did they get all those kids on the trains? Like all those postcards looked like they grew them in cabbage patches.
Cabbage Patch Kids, yeah, those dolls.
About that, like,
Mhm.
what?
Wow.
I don't know. That should be our next question.
You want to do that question?
Oh, I think we should. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
let's go.
I don't know if I got a clear answer on it, but let's see if we're ready to get a clear answer on this. Some of this stuff's too shocking, maybe.
Yeah, that was the time during the World Fairs, like CeeLo Joe, exactly. The incubators at the World Fairs. Is it that?
And like they would have had incubators. It sounds like better than what, like I was put in an incubator and my mom said, like, because I was born 2 months preemie.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom said the incubator is about the grade of incubating chickens, like it was not very technologically advanced. And for her to even touch me or any interaction, she had to put her hands through big black rubber gloves. So I didn't get human touch other than the nurses and doctors who also used these gloves to turn me over and do whatever. And mom said it was just like being on a farm with a chicken incubator. So they weren't those advanced ones you saw at the World Fair. Where'd they put those?
Where are they?
They hid those from view because that was long before 1961 when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, we went back thousands of years knowledge-wise. Like they took away all of that knowledge and hid it from us that those people had to build those buildings. And yeah, it's unbelievable. We were wiped out and thrown back. And I think they were just trying to do it again. And because everybody says, like, a lot of the people being dropped in these places are literally like have sort of the mentality of like we saw that picture of that guy, he's frying some eggs on the eternal flame of the lost soldier or whatever, the unmarked grave of the, I don't know, I can't remember how to say it, but you guys saw, I shared it, everybody shared it, went viral. This guy, he's frying some eggs on the eternal flame of the marker of the unmarked soldier, like this sacred space place where they, like so I'm saying they got these people that really seem to be, they purposely created somehow a whole group of people who aren't that sophisticated, really. Okay. I don't know. I'm just saying it's weird. Okay.
It is.
So where did those people come from? Where are they coming from now? Something's weird's going on, you guys. Something's weird's going on.
It makes me come back to what you always say at every single show when Trump said they're not sending us the best of them.
Yeah, he's making a big calm there. He's not a racist guy. He's not trying to be rude. He's making a point to pay attention. And then all these videos come out. We got guys like shitting on street corners right in front of people, like just doing weird things that make absolutely so they're absolutely not very advanced thinking.
It makes sense.
To say the least.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're like, what? Where did they get these people from? It makes no sense, right? But it does make sense. If you're the cabal, you can, those are people they want minions. They don't want us. We got too smart. We're out. Just like the Tartarians, they want rid of us. Okay. So that same reptilian group that intermixed with what we now call cabal and our enemies here, that same bunch, they want rid of us. You better believe it.
Oh, man. Wow.
Okay, so what are we asking again? Where did the people come from? Okay.
Where did they come from?
It's very strategic. Okay, so this is interesting because it's like this card says information maybe not available yet, and strategic. So even the universe is strategically telling us we might not get to know exactly where. That has, I don't know why, but it did this last time when I went looking at where did these guys come from. Surrender to in time. We're getting close to when we don't get to know exactly. Okay, we don't get to know. Now, this is interesting because the magician, so anything we were told about it, though, is lies. So everything's not true about where they got them, and how it actually went down is going to be revealed, and it's not time yet. We have a bunch of other stuff we have to put in place first before we're ready to know. And I'm sorry, I'm just reading the cards. I'd love it to tell me, but sometimes even when I did card readings for clients, I did that for 35, 40 years daily. I was a daily career card reader. So I had thousands and thousands and thousands of clients. And I would do card readings where the person didn't get an answer for their question. And it wasn't time, and the universe deemed it not ready to divulge that yet for various reasons. And the universe says it knows there's a good reason for it. So I just go with that, and I'm going to have to go with that because that's what it's saying. But this card does tell us that we're getting really close to knowing, or being able to know, and we're not going to like it when we hear it. So whatever it is, it's going to be weird. Okay.
Ooh. We're going to respect the cards. We're not going to push more. Well, listen, we're not ready. Yeah, they don't want to talk. Okay. Yeah. We got it. Like Tracy 66 says, nope, says the cards. Exactly. So cards, we're going to respect that. We're not going to ask anything about that anymore. We'll let you, the cards, decide when it's divine timing for that. So let's ask, I'll try to ask, let's take a look. Let me start again. Let's look into the symbolism of this type of destruction. What are the symbolic meaning in this fire during this event? Is it purification, punishment, controlled transformation? What is the symbolic meaning of fire? Because they're using it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Instilling fear. So they're saying fire, but it isn't necessarily fire, right?
Mm-hmm. No.
But now they're using fire, but now they're using fire, but we don't know how the fire started. They're saying they're wildfires, but we know that's not true. So it's likely explosives again, and or dew weapons, like directed energy weapons. Certainly the fires are a byproduct of the weapon they use, right? Okay, so instilling fear. Okay, and being able to watch something. So that's interesting, being able, from a safe distance, being able to watch something. Okay, maybe they're utilizing the fear and freaking everybody out. So utilizing that loosh creators. Okay, so they get a big input of, so this bunch, and if I'm right about that reptilian bunch, I mean, and maybe whatever bunch, if I'm not right about the reptilians, it'll be some entities like that hide themselves in humans and or mix with humans. So hybrids and or literally just sit inside humans, get inside physical humans, so reptilians. Okay, so they're watching, so from a safe distance, and maybe even from off planet and or other dimensionally. Okay, so they're feeding on it. So they're feeding on it. So they're having a big feeding frenzy over it. So even we could say a ritual feeding frenzy that they do every so many years. Or every time people get too smart and they got to get rid of them and replace them with a new bunch. that they've already been creating over here on the side by just social engineering. It's social engineering. That's how they're creating those people. That just dropped in my head, and it wasn't what the cards were saying. The cards said they weren't going to tell us yet. I think it's social engineering. And if you think about it, they create these religions, they social engineer people. And if those people really are following the letter of those religions we forementioned, okay, they're likely like it's an indoctrination, like it's a social engineering. And anybody not smart enough to think for themselves. That's why all spiritual doctrines are suspect to me. Okay, I don't trust anybody who says, oh, I'm a this and I'm a that spiritually. It's like, no, you're individually soul searching and intuitively looking into what spirit is to you. Because if you are some doctrine somebody created, it was, in my opinion, 100% created by the deep state, dark cult, reptilians, whoever. Okay, they created all of them, in my opinion. All of them. Think about it. Just think about that. So if you're not thinking for yourself and deeply connecting spiritually, then I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
I'm worried about where you're getting your info from. Okay, because I check in, my whole life checked in with and went, is this true? And almost all the way through school went, bullshit.
Guilty.
And I didn't apologize. I didn't even care. Like I was put in remedial classes, called a dummy, whatever. And I, in my soul, knew I was not the dummy here. I didn't think I was smart or anything. I thought sometimes I even did buy in. Maybe I'm not as smart. Okay. But on some deep spiritual level, I went, nah, I think I got this right.
Wow. You felt it in your bones.
I just felt it in my spirit. Yeah. And I think all of us have to do that. So the social engineering is what creates the people. So they social engineer groups of people, and they've done that in these third world countries that they've called, and they purposely created third world countries to social engineer these people, and then got them all making lots of babies and stuff. And now they're shipping them all over the place. Okay. That's what they're doing.
And that's what they're doing even now. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they want to take over again. They're doing exactly the same thing they did in the 1800s, you guys. That's what the plan was.
Holy crap.
We're not going to let them, though.
No, not today, Satan. Mm-mm.
Yeah, not today. Yeah, they did it for Loosh, really. Yeah. And then these cards here, this is interesting. We've got the Two of Pentacles. So there's other things they got out of it as well. Okay, so collecting all the money, collecting all the property, collecting all the, there's lots of reasons. So they get to just move in and take everything again, right? They don't like sharing anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking, let's see this as maybe it's going to be a clarifier, because you're talking about the people living during that era. Those citizens, were they aware of this agenda, or they were fully caught up in the narrative?
Well, I mean, were some of them aware? Certainly not everybody was, but let's have a look. Okay, some of them were. Yeah, you bet. Okay, some of them were. Yeah. Good. See that Page of Wands? Some of them were. And they even some of them were even popular in expressing it. So maybe out on the streets telling people to be careful.
Yes.
Maybe whoever drew that picture, I think it was from the 1800s, of somebody running away with their child from someone trying to vax the child, but they had the doctor as a snake.
Wow.
Right. So snake, like modern medicines, a bunch of BS and probably reptilian. Right. Like that drawing. Right. When's that from? If somebody can.
In the comments.
I don't know when that, but we don't know when it really was, because we're just told things. We don't know. They didn't have internet back then. We have no idea when these things really happened, you guys. That's what you got to remember. All the dates are suspect to me. All the headlines, anything in the papers, all BS. I don't buy any one bit of it. We got to sort this all out like what we're doing here.
Ooh, oh, Oracle 911 did see that drawing you're talking about. You guys share it in the comments. If you have a link, share in the comments.
People were probably writing and drawing cartoons and trying every way to get it out there, right? Little pamphlets and stuff. But of course, that would have got snuffed out, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Okay. So let me ask this last question. We're here at the end of this investigation. First of all, this show is a good, this is my opinion, would be a good introduction show to share to somebody that's asking, that's curious, that's now opening their eyes and like, okay, I'm curious, what is this all about? Because we're talking about the 1800s and they're still using the same pattern. They're still using it now. You gave the perfect example with the mass immigrations and they're making many kids, and Trump that keeps on saying they're not sending us the best of them, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like, we can't make this up. Guys, it's here. It's on the internet. You just go and Google and it's all out there. So I want to see, how can I put this question? It says, like we always say that the past carries the lessons for our future. So what are the hidden messages or lessons from this event, the Great Fires? What is the most important message for us to remember today? What does this Great Fires of the 1800s want to share to us, 2025, September the 2nd, watching today?
That we're moving out of the pattern, and we have the opportunity right now to break the pattern of this stuff they've been doing, because they've been doing this for a really long time. That wasn't, 1800s wasn't the first reset.
Yeah.
They did it before. Okay.
Yeah.
They've been doing this since the beginning of time. Yeah. And it looks like we're on the road to actually win this one. And that could be just because of, where we're situated in the universe right now. It's time, it's timing, universal timing. It's karmic and just that we like, they don't always get to win. Okay. That's not how the pendulum doesn't swing like that. We're swinging over to a win for the humans. Okay. And we have to stay like optimistic, visualizing our future, stay grounded, feel worthy. So self-love and feeling worthy is really important. I feel like that's another reason why a lot of the social engineering, they've been doing that whole woke culture, really, and pounding on, first of all, Christians, and pounding on white people, and especially white Christian people. Mm-hmm. Okay, they've been like making you feel bad about yourselves for really like years now. And I've heard my kids say stuff like beating themselves up. My son, mind you, he's a half black fella, but his dad's Caribbean and from Antigua. But he has like I'm like, Cache, you're like white and black. Okay. Yeah. Like you're like a mixed, beautiful, gorgeous cultures together. Mm-hmm. You can't hate one whole part of your ancestry. Like, and we're so many things, like we're part native, we're a whole bunch of things. Look into anybody who's apparently white. And there are a whole bunch of stuff. It's like it doesn't, anyway, it's a whole agenda. It's a social engineering. They're doing it on purpose, because the more you self-loathe, the easier you are to pray about being socially engineered. So loving yourself is a big enemy of the deep state. They don't want you doing that, because then you're going to be self-aware, and we don't want any of that. If you're a deep stater, you don't want people doing that. Okay, so make sure you're thinking for yourselves, looking at things in a new way, being open-minded enough, but coming from a place of grounded self-love.
Wow. Oh, shoot, Janine, that is so well said. It starts by loving yourself. That is such, I totally resonate with that. Yeah, because they don't want people that are self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that makes total sense, Janine.
You're just here in this physical shell, this lifetime. You've been, if you're a woman, you've been a man, I remember male lifetimes. I remember lifetimes being every color. Okay, we've been all kinds of things. So this is just an illusion experience you're having. So anybody who gets too tied into I'm this and I'm that, that's ridiculous. What's your soul essence? Never mind about that. This is your avatar. Okay, and just respect and love it, because this is what you were given to express through. So if you're not taking care of it and loving it, yeah, you're missing half the game there.
Janine is coming with it. Thank you so much, Janine. What an amazing investigation. I am high on life right now. I need to calm down because this was so good, Janine. I was so excited. Like when I texted you that message, I'm like, yes, she wants to do it. This is amazing. And then I was like so excited until now. You guys, thank you so much. Everybody that tuned in with us. I see all of your beautiful comments. That is so cool that you guys are all here. And before we end,
Vì khống chế cung dương thành nghiêm mật, bên ngoài thì Đường Hoàng nói là sợ người ám sát vương gia, sợ những tin tức hỗn loạn ảnh hưởng đến bệnh tình của vương gia, nhưng thực ra mục đích là để giam lỏng bọn họ. Lý do vốn nói gượng ép chỉ là vì sự an toàn của bản thân, hắn cũng không nghĩ đến. Giờ đây đã biết Thục Vương không có ý mưu phản, nghe cổ đủ kêu oanh, Dương Lăng không phải giờ khóc giờ cười. Chu Tương Nhi khóc lóc một phen, làm anh em Chu Nhượng Hồ cũng đỏ mặt tía tai. Chu Nhượng Hồ không biết mục đích chính của Dương Lăng đến Tứ Xuyên, chỉ biết cục diện rối rắm của Tứ Xuyên là do Tâm Gia đại nhân thu dọn. Nói gián tiếp thì mạng của y cũng chính là do Dương Lăng cứu. Dương Lăng làm như thế có thể là có chút quá đáng. Mặc dù nói người khác cũng có lòng tốt, nhưng người ta có ơn lớn đối với nhà mình. Tiểu muội nói trước mặt như thế có thể thấy nhà Thục Vương không chu đáo. Chu Nhược Cận thông minh hơn người, đặc biệt là trên điện đại vương. Khi Dương Lăng nhìn thấy cái dải gạch vàng đã có biểu hiện kỳ quái và lầm bầm, làm cho y nhìn thấu Dương Lăng. Biết chắc chắn Dương Lăng trước đó chắc chắn là nghe đến tin có người mua gạch vàng nên biết có chuyện bốn loại điều tra. Mục đích chính là vì phụ vương, vậy nên việc hắn nhân cơ hội giam lỏng phụ vương cũng không kỳ lạ. Giờ thì hiểu nhầm đã được hóa giải, chuyện này mọi người cũng chỉ đành làm như không biết. Nhưng tiểu muội nói mãi không thôi, đến cả cơ hội nói xen vào y cũng không có, chỉ đành để mặc cô nói. Khó khăn lắm Chu Tương Nhi mới trút được hết ra. Lúc này mới phát hiện có người đáng ghét cũng đi với đại ca nhị ca, cười hì hì nghe cô cào nhào thì không phải trừng mắt nói cái lại. Dương Lăng mỉm cười, thấu kiến quận chúa, tại hạ chính là mặt người dạ thú mà người nói đến, tôi đã muốn chết, không sai Dương Lăng. Chu Tương Nhi há hốc miệng, có thể nhét được một quả trứng gà, run sợ một lúc lâu mới chui ra khỏi ngực của nhị ca, hư lớn một tiếng đi thẳng đến Tịnh Tâm Các. Trong Tịnh Tâm Các, Thục Vương Chu Tân Hàn khí sắc rất tốt, mặt mũi hồng hào, ông ngồi trên ghế cười nói với Dương Lăng. Lần này ba tục một phen dung chuyển, may bà có cơn trai đại nhân mới được bình yên. Ông ta khẽ thở dài nói, hai ngày nay các nơi ở ba tục đều lần lượt đưa thư chúc mừng, thái độ kính cẩn, khác hẳn với bộ dạng ngang ngược trước kia. Xem ra cách chỉ tục của ta có chỗ không hợp lý rồi. Lần này hoàn toàn bình định họa trăm năm, là đại công của Khâm Sai đại nhân, cứu tiểu nhi Nhượng Hồ là ân lớn nhất với bản vương. Dương đại nhân, bản vương phải nói cảm ơn ngài mới phải. Đâu có, bước ra ngài khách sáo quá rồi. Để lệnh ra một cửa tiện cho xung quân tác chiến, cũng để tránh vương gia bị quấy nhiễu. Thời gian này thì về của hạ quan đã gây nhiều phiền phức cho vương gia và mọi người, xin vương gia tha tội. Dương Lăng vội hạ thấp người nói. Hắn phát hiện Thục Vương trị gia rất cẩn thận nghiêm túc, hai đứa con trai của Thục Vương từ lúc bước vào giống như đổi thành người khác vậy. Thục Vương nói chuyện với mình, hai huynh đệ cũng không nói đến một lời, ngồi đó thái độ tôn kính. đến cả thở mạnh cũng không dám. Còn chưa nói đến anh em Chu Nhật Hổ, Chu Nhật Cận, ngay cả tiểu quân chốt đánh đá cũng rất biết giả bộ. Lúc này tư thế ngồi rất nho nhã, ưỡn ngực lưng thẳng, cẩn thận, hai chân khép chặt hơi nghiêng về một phía, hai tay để lên ghế, ngoan ngoãn điềm đạm, chính là tiểu thục nữ có giáo dưỡng. Thế tử Chu Nhật Cận lớn trước tuổi, nói năng cẩn trọng, nhưng nếu lén tiếp xúc thì cũng không phải là một con mặc sách không biết gì, có chút phá cách. Nhìn bộ dạng quy củ của Chu Nhật Cận với Chu Nhật Hổ trước mặt Thục Vương, nhưng không khỏi cười thầm. Trên có chính sách, dưới có đối sách. Ba bà bối này của nhà Thục Vương cũng ra trò đấy. Chị em Thục Vương không thể nghĩ được hai đứa con trai, một đứa con gái ở bên ngoài khác hoàn toàn với bộ dạng trước mặt ông. Thục Vương cười ha hả nói, thời tiết lạnh dần, thời gian này bổn vương tĩnh tâm tu dưỡng, bệnh tình cũng đã khá hơn. Định mấy hôm nay sẽ chuyển về vương phủ, đến lúc đó sẽ mở tiệc mừng công thời trần cho đại nhân. Cũng là để tiêu chi tạ ơn đại nhân, mong đại nhân sẽ đến. Dương Lăng giật mình cười, nghĩ rồi nói, cái này vương gia đã mời hạ quan nhất định đến. Không giống gì vương gia, hạ quan rời kinh thành đã lâu, trong lòng cũng vướng bận rất nhiều. Hơn nữa bây giờ đã vào tháng 10, dù nơi này khí hậu tốt, nhưng đất Bắc đã lành dần. Hạ quan quyết định dâng lên vương gia kế hoạch xoa dịu để người xem xét, tiện ngày hồi kinh. Kế sách xoa dịu? Thục Vương tò mò hỏi. Dạ, bệnh tình võ lượng người Man đã khó, nhưng thu phục lòng họ còn khó hơn. Hạ quan đã bàn tính với quan viên địa phương ở Từ Châu, nghĩ ra một vài kế sách thu phục người Man. Chủ yếu là xây thành lũy, đóng quân, thắt chặt những nơi trọng điểm, khởi dân binh, thông đường xá, xây trường học, cứu nghèo, bình thuế, di dân, mở rộng thương nghiệp. Tổng có 10 chiến lược. Hiện triều đình đang thiết lập tuần phủ sứ ở Từ Châu. Nhưng những cái sách này vẫn cần có sự ủng hộ của Thục Vương mới có thể tiếp tục thực hiện. Thục Vương đọc qua mấy dòng rồi lắc đầu, cười thản nhiên nói, chuyện này lúc qua phủ ăn uống, nhà hãy cùng nhận hù bàn bạc. Bổn vương bệnh nặng khó khỏi, những chuyện như thế này chị e sau này không phải nổi nữa. Thục Vương nói giọng có chút thề đường. Dương Lăng cười đáp, vâng, hạ quan tuân lệnh, vương gia hãy an tâm dưỡng bệnh. Nói xong câu đó trong lòng hắn đột nhiên đập thình thịch. Mặc dù vương gia thường ra việc cho thế tử, nhưng chủ yếu là do ông ta không tiện ra ngoài tuần hành. Thế nhưng lại có một số chuyện cần ông ta đích thân đến. Giờ mình ở trước mặt ông ta nói đến tình hình băng thuộc và ông ta quan tâm nhất, nhưng ông ta lại buông tay mặc kệ, mà lại bảo mình trực tiếp gặp thế tử. Dương Lăng tự hiểu trong lòng, hắn liếc nhìn qua bên hai huynh đệ Trung Nhật Hổ, hai người vẫn ngồi kính cẩn không nói một lời, nhưng cảm giác hai người đều có sự thay đổi, hiển như hiểu được ý tại ngôn ngoại của Thục Vương. Sắc mặt Trung Nhật Hổ ửng hồng, vẻ mặt dường như có chút cảm động, nhưng lại không dám mở mồm nói chuyện. Y mím môi, mắt nhìn hướng xuống. Trung Nhật Cận lại liếc trộm anh cả một cái rồi thu lại ánh mắt. Thục Vương muốn chuyển ngôn. Suy nghĩ này vẫn nảy ra trong lòng Dương Lăng. Nghĩ lại tình tình Thục Vương có chữa, lại thêm lần này tiêu diệt phản loạn Vương trưởng ban, ông ta cũng đã nghĩ đến những khiếm khuyết của bản thân nên đã quyết định truyền cương vị cho thế tử. Thảo nào mà ông ta muốn mừng công mình trong việc yến tiệc tại phủ. Mừng công là nói cho thật, còn e rằng việc tuyên bố chuyển ngôi với văn võ bá quan đất thục mới là mục đích chính, cùng lúc để đại quan mình đây làm chứng. Việc này không có gì là khó khăn. Thế tử vốn là người thừa kế hợp pháp, hiện nay vương gia bệnh nặng khó chữa, chỉ cần công bố một tiếng, sau đó xin ý chỉ của hoàng thượng rồi thế tử đăng vị là được. Chỉ không biết tài cán vị thế tử Chu Nhật Hổ này như thế nào so với cha mình, so với Chu Nhật Cận thì như thế nào. Đừng là nhanh chóng hiểu được ý của Phong Thục, đột nhiên cảm thấy có một ánh mắt đang nhìn mình. Hắn đào mắt một cái thì thấy đó là Chu Tường Nhi. Cô gái nhỏ nhắn đang cắn môi hồng anh đào, bộ ngực nhỏ hơi nhô lên, cặp mắt đen trắng rõ ràng chợt lóe lên, đang nhằm vào hắn. Vừa nhìn thấy Dương Lăng quay sang, Chu Tường Nhi đẹp khẽ môi, cầm hơi nghiêng sang bên cạnh. Mặc dù không tiện làm ra những hành động quá lộ trước mặt cha, nhưng sự kinh thường lại thể hiện ra trên một mặt đầy cảm xúc của cô. Dương Lan không khỏi mở miệng cười một cái. Các bạn chưa bãi hạt ớt mà đằng này đã mọc ra một cây ớt Tứ Xuyên rồi. Dương Lan quay về thành đô, còn bận hơn cả ở Từ Châu. 2 ngày liền tiếp đón quan các nơi đến chúc mừng và tiệc mời. Đến ngày thứ 3, Dương Lan thực sự không thể chịu nổi cảnh dự thi nữa, bèn lấy cớ sức khỏe không tốt nghỉ ngơi trong hành viện. Sáng sớm luyện hồn khí rồi cùng Ngũ Hoán Siêu múa võ. Dương Lan nhớ lại kiếm pháp kinh người mà hôm đó Chu Lương Cận dùng, lên tiện mồm nói với Ngũ Hoán Siêu. Ngũ Hoán Siêu là con nhà võ trời sinh, nên đặc biệt quan tâm đến những người trong đạo, hỏi tỉ mỉ quá trình Chu Lương Cận ra tay. Dương Lan nổi hứng bèn thử diễn động tác tay quét ngang đâm thẳng một đường đẹp mê hồn đấy. Miêu tả tư thế Chu Lương Cận dùng đao, Ngũ Hoán Siêu nghĩ một chút rồi nói: đao pháp hùng hãn như vậy không giống với võ công trung nguyên. Môn phái võ lâm ma thục phần đông mọi người cũng dùng kiếm. Tứ Xuyên ở phía Tây thường qua lại với những người Tây vực. Hồ Thục Vương đại hùng thế mạnh, tiếp xúc cùng cả những nhân vật kiệt xuất Tây vực. Võ công và đao pháp của nhị vương tử 10 phần có đến 8-9 phần là học từ đao pháp Tây vực. Dương Lan cười nói: vậy về võ công của người có đối phó được không? Ngũ Hoán Siêu kiên tốn cười: nhân ngoại hữu nhân, thiên ngoại hữu thiên. Chưa từng đấu qua, hắn Siêu cũng không phải nói hoa. Nhưng có một chút tay đạo